The wind whispered across the rolling fields as I revved my old motorcycle, its engine echoing through the quiet morning. I hadn't seen this house in decades, yet every detail seemed familiar. The creak of the porch, the worn paint on the shutters, even the windmill spinning lazily in the distance. Today I returned not as a soldier, not as a fighter, but as a man who had chosen a life of quiet after years of chaos. I parked beside the familiar walkway, taking a long moment to study the home I once dreamed about in my youth. Inside, laughter and soft coos greeted me. My child slept peacefully, tucked against the warmth of my chest, while my partner smiled from the doorway. Every worry, every battle, every scar seemed to fade in this moment. But deep down, I knew that the calm could not last. Shadows of the past had a way of finding even the most hidden sanctuaries, and I had a sense that the storm was coming, one I could not outrun.
I remembered the nights I spent preparing for battles I hoped would never come. The weight of responsibility, the burden of decisions, it never left me. Even here, with the sun streaming through the windows, I felt it, the creeping tension that the universe itself had not forgotten me. I glanced at the old protective suit I had worn on missions long ago, folded neatly in the corner, untouched for years. I reached out and ran my hand over it, remembering the sacrifices it demanded. My partner watched silently, knowing me well enough not to ask questions. Outside, the wind picked up, rattling the window panes, and I sensed the arrival of something vast and unknown, something that would challenge not just my strength, but the choices I had made.
Years ago, I made a choice, one that changed everything. I had been given a path of duty, a path of selflessness, and yet I had glimpsed what life could be if I chose myself. I stayed behind in a time I had longed for, a life I had dreamt of, and embraced it fully. That life had given me joy I never thought I could feel, yet it had also sown the seeds of future trials. Because power does not forgive absence, and enemies do not forget. Every decision I made in the past echoes here in the present, and now I could feel the tremors of those echoes stirring. The universe has a way of demanding reckoning, and the balance I once ignored was calling my name.
Time itself seemed fragile. I had glimpsed alternate realities, visions of what could have been, and the paths I had not taken. In these reflections, I saw threats that were not bound by a single world, not by a single moment. A figure, a genius in armor, a mind as brilliant as it was ruthless, was watching, calculating. I knew his methods, his name, not from tales, but from the fear he inspired. Dr. Dromar, they called him in some worlds, a master of timelines and a seeker of dominion. He had found cracks in the fabric of existence and was ready to exploit them. I felt the weight of destiny pressing down on me as I held my child closer. The quiet life I cherished hung by a thread, and I knew that soon nothing would be as simple as it once seemed.
The first strike came silently. A shiver ran through the air, almost imperceptible, but I felt it. Outside the window, the light shifted unnaturally, shadows bending in ways they should not. My instincts screamed at me. I lifted my child and crossed the threshold, scanning for signs of intrusion. And then I saw him, Dr. Dromar, towering in his dark armor, the mechanisms of his suit glowing with eerie precision. His eyes, hidden behind a reflective visor, seemed to pierce through time itself. He did not speak at first. His presence was accusation and promise in one. He blamed me for the fractures in reality, the incursions, the moments I had tried to escape by hiding in this past. And as he extended a hand toward my home, I realized the battle was not just for me, but for the very fabric of existence.
A clock ticked somewhere,
a relentless countdown that marked every second slipping away. I could feel it in my bones, each tick resonating like the pulse of the universe itself. The green glow of the mechanisms inside Dr. Dromar's Citadel reflected in my mind, each symbol, each rune a warning. Time was not my ally anymore. It had become a weapon, a device that could undo all I had held dear. I gathered my courage and prepared for what I knew was inevitable. I could not let fear paralyze me, not now, not when everything depended on the choices I would make in the next moments.
I was not alone. Allies I had trusted in other worlds appeared, drawn together by fate or necessity. Friends who had stood by me in battles long past, warriors of intellect and might, each ready to lend their strength. Their presence brought hope, but also doubt. Could we survive against an enemy who manipulated time and destiny itself? We shared memories of victories and losses, strategies whispered in tense moments, and yet, even in our unity, I sensed the weight of loss hanging over us. The threat was larger than any single life, yet I clung to the belief that together we could resist what seemed inevitable.
The Citadel loomed above us, a fortress of impossible architecture, its spires twisting into the sky like the fingers of some ancient deity. Inside, Dr. Dromar orchestrated chaos with a precision only a mind like his could achieve. Each step we took brought us closer to confrontation, and yet the path was treacherous. Reality bent around us, showing flashes of futures that might never come to pass. The child slept unaware in my arms, innocence untouched by the storm, and I swore to protect that innocence at any cost. The walls of the Citadel vibrated as if alive, and I felt the heartbeat of the coming apocalypse in every stone, every shadow. Desperation sharpened my senses. Sacrifices would be demanded, choices made that could never be undone. I faced visions of my own failure, the consequences of a single misstep echoing across multiple worlds. Yet courage burned brighter than fear. I could not falter, not when the lives of so many depended on my actions. I gripped my child, the weight of responsibility pressing down, and prepared to step into the maw of the enemy. Every memory, every lesson learned in years of conflict became a weapon, each heartbeat a reminder that I was not alone. The countdown continued, relentless and unforgiving, and I had to move before time itself ran out. The dawn broke, casting long shadows across the battlefield of timelines. Dr. Dromar stood poised, a figure of intellect and terror, and I faced him without hesitation. The future was uncertain, fractured by choices I had made and battles yet to come. Yet even in the darkness, a spark of hope persisted. The child in my arms symbolized the life we fought for, the chance to preserve what mattered most. As the first rays of light touched the Citadel, I knew the battle was only beginning. The storm had arrived, and with it, the promise of a reckoning that would reshape everything. I inhaled deeply, ready to fight, ready to protect, and ready to confront the doomsday that awaited us all.